Arsenal are close to signing Mikel Merino because Arsenal have an agreement with the player. So Mikel Merino said yes to Arsenal. So welcome back, Fabrizio, with Matteo Moretto. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Buena.
So
Yeah.
we are going to talk English, guys, but also some Spanish updates because we have updates to give you. It's been a busy day on the market because, let me recap, Joao Neves arrives tomorrow in Paris. The deal is done, 60 million euros plus 10 in add-ons, and Renato Sanchez to Benfica. So Joao Neves, important signing for Paris Saint-Germain. And remember that Manu Ugarte is still expected to leave Paris Saint-Germain. He agreed personal terms with Man United, and he's waiting for Man United. So Ugarte, Mazraoui, De Ligt, all these players have an agreement with Man United and are waiting for Man United. But also Ugarte. Don't forget Ugarte because he remains on the list of Manchester United. Then Crescencio Somerville to West Ham, also a done deal, over 25 million pounds for Crescencio Somerville to West Ham. Roma signed Artem Dovbyk. He will be in Roma tomorrow for this deal worth more than 30 million euros plus add-ons up to potential package of 36 million euros. But why I am with Matteo? Because today we will talk also some Spanish, and obviously I will be here translating for you. We will talk also about Dani Olmo. We have something to say. But we wanted to start with Arsenal because we were here together today discussing about transfers, working on some news, and we have something to say on the situation of a potential new signing for Arsenal that completed the deal for Riccardo Calafiori, but Arsenal are getting closer to their second signing, Mikel Merino. Let's go in Spanish and then we go in English.
Sí, Fabri, porque bueno, esta es una noticia muy importante para los aficionados del Arsenal porque Mikel Merino está muy cerca del Arsenal. En las últimas horas el Arsenal ha presentado una oferta de 30 millones más bonus y Mikel Merino ya tiene un acuerdo total con el Arsenal y los próximos días este fichaje se puede cerrar de manera definitiva. Entonces, Merino muy cerca del Arsenal.
Okay, this is the update, the exclusive update we are giving you. Arsenal are close to signing Mikel Merino because Arsenal have an agreement with the player. So Mikel Merino said yes to Arsenal despite all the possibilities he had on the market. Barcelona interest, but we know that Barca have different focus. Also interest from Atletico Madrid, but Atletico Madrid are now busy with Conor Gallagher. Remember that there is an agreement. It was an exclusive story from yesterday. Agreement, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea for Conor Gallagher, waiting to see what Conor Gallagher wants to do. So depends on the player. But the news of the day is that Arsenal are close to signing Mikel Merino. Agreement with the player and negotiations now underway between Arsenal and Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad also prefer to serve the player abroad, so not in Spain, in England would be better. The player is tempted by working under Mikel Arteta. Now they need to finalize the agreement. So at the moment everything is verbal. Is verbal conversation between Arsenal, Real Sociedad, waiting to make it formal. So we are not saying that is happening tonight and then tomorrow there will be medical test. We are not at that stage. But we are saying that Arsenal are really getting closer to reaching an agreement for a package worth more than 30 million euros for Mikel Merino and would be a really important signing for Arsenal. It's not done yet, but is in progress and is at important stages, as Matteo was saying, also because Real Sociedad are working on a replacement. I don't remember if you already said or not, or if you want to say now, but Real Sociedad are already preparing the future without Mikel Merino. Están preparando un poco el futuro, ¿no?
Sí, porque la Real Sociedad ahora mismo ya piensa en el sustituto de Merino y está trabajando para cerrar cuanto antes la llegada de Carlos Soler del Paris Saint-Germain. Hay una negociación en marcha entre las partes. La negociación está muy bien encaminada. Así que el sustituto de Merino en la Real Sociedad muy probablemente va a ser Carlos Soler.
Han salido muchísimos nombres, ¿no? We had many rumors about Real Sociedad, about the names, but tonight with Matteo, who was working also on this one, we have to say that Carlos Soler is getting closer to become the replacement of Mikel Merino at Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad started negotiations on player side. Soler wants to leave PSG since May, it's already clear. And also, they started negotiations with Paris Saint-Germain. So let's see the terms, the details of the deal in the next hours or days. We will be more clear, but we can break the story that Carlos Soler is expected to be the replacement for Mikel Merino at Real Sociedad. So Merino after Calafiori could be the second signing for Arsenal and would be an important move for Mikel Arteta, who already strongly wanted Riccardo Calafiori. For Mikel Merino, the player already said yes, so the contract is potentially okay. It's not a problem on player side. They need to fix the deal with Real Sociedad, but the conversation is going very well between the two clubs. So important to say, Arsenal getting closer to Mikel Merino. Mentioning other news before returning also on something else, I wanted to reply to some of the questions I saw in the chat. Let me start with Anthony Gordon, because what I said here on Playback many times and on my YouTube channel also in the last 2-3 days and during the whole summer remains valid. Anthony Gordon remains a player highly rated and appreciated by Liverpool. So the interest of Liverpool in Anthony Gordon remains. Then the negotiation club to club is not ongoing now. So I have nothing else to say as of today. But the interest in Anthony Gordon remains and is a strong interest from Liverpool. I also wanted to say something, and we will talk some Spanish about that, while I see a question on Füllkrug. Füllkrug was in the rumors for Milan, but was never something concrete or close. Milan are working on Tammy Abraham as new striker. Negotiations Milan-Roma for Tammy Abraham, as we said 3 weeks ago. And Füllkrug is in negotiations with West Ham. Agreement with the player, negotiations, West Ham, Borussia Dortmund ongoing for Füllkrug, who could be the new striker for West Ham after they signed Crescencio Summerville. What I wanted to say on Barcelona is that I see many questions again on Nico. Guys, for Nico, we wait for Barca to make a decision. We wait for Barca to understand what they want to do with the situation of Nico Williams, of course. But it depends on the player. So it's now Nico who has to give an answer. We wait for that, obviously. We also said a few days ago that Athletic Bilbao are preparing a new contract proposal for Nico. So if tonight, tomorrow, in 2 days, Nico calls Barcelona and Bilbao and says, okay, I'm staying at Athletic, they already prepared a new contract for Nico Williams. So Athletic are hoping, but still waiting, all parties on Barca side, Athletic, and all the other sides, waiting for Nico to communicate. What I wanted to say is on Dani Olmo, because on Dani Olmo, I think it's important to mention that the player wants to go to Barcelona. So the clear message Barcelona got during the weekend when they had contacts with the agents of the player, and also in the recent days of this week, is that Dani Olmo is super keen on joining Barca. So Dani Olmo is really interested in the move. He believes that Barcelona is the perfect project for him. Now it's between the two clubs. It's not a normal negotiation. The relationship of the agents of Dani Olmo with Red Bull Leipzig is excellent. And so are the agents of Dani Olmo, who are trying to understand what could happen club to club. So the conversation is ongoing. They are discussing. We know Leipzig still want 60, 65, a big amount for Dani Olmo, despite the release clause expired a few days ago. And so negotiations ongoing, Barcelona, Leipzig, with the player, everything is potentially okay because Dani Olmo wants to go to Barcelona. Now depends on Barca and Leipzig, reminding that everything still pending for Nico Williams. So this is the situation for Barcelona. De Gea
fue ofrecido a la Fiorentina. Hay conversaciones, pero aún no hay una decisión final sobre su futuro. La Fiorentina se lo está pensando.
Okay, so Fiorentina are considering the situation for David De Gea, but at the moment it's not something guaranteed, it's not something done.
Sorloth al Atlético de Madrid está prácticamente cerrado, faltan flecos, pero yo creo que ya mañana se puede cerrar de manera definitiva.
So Sorloth is close to joining Atletico Madrid. He's almost there, waiting on the final details, and then the deal will be done. I see many questions on Zubimendi. Remember, guys, that Zubimendi has already closed 60 million euros, so it's not an easy deal at all. Desiree Doué will decide soon between Bayern and PSG, but I can guarantee to you that Paris Saint-Germain in the recent days have been pushing a lot behind the scenes. On Conor Gallagher, I wanted to tell you something on Conor Gallagher, because...
What? No, nada.
Good. I wanted to tell you on Conor Gallagher that the agreement between Chelsea and Atletico is basically okay, is basically done. The important part of the story is now what Conor wants to do. Why the player decision is so important. It's always important, the player decision in football, but in this case, even more, because Conor Gallagher is out of contract next summer. At the moment, he has no agreement to extend the contract at Chelsea, but Conor Gallagher has many possibilities to join other clubs next summer on a free transfer. For example, Tottenham are still keeping close eye to the situation of Conor Gallagher, still very interested in Conor Gallagher. The biggest fan of Conor Gallagher is probably Ange Postecoglou, who loves Conor Gallagher, but at the moment, Conor Gallagher is in conversations with Atletico Madrid and Chelsea to decide and make a final decision soon on his future. Atletico will not wait for Conor Gallagher forever, so it's not going to be a 3 weeks, 2 weeks saga. I think in the next days, everything will be clear, in or out, but agreement done between Atletico Madrid and Chelsea, waiting for the player. So it depends on the player. And that's the story. Fabrizio, thank you. Thank you, Avshas. Thank you. Really appreciated. Then I see many questions also on the situation of Karim Adeyemi. While I see questions on Osimhen, guys, I will do a specific live on Osimhen in the next days. I can tell you that as of tonight, I was tweeting yesterday, to explain a bit the situation. But on Osimhen, nothing is imminent. Nothing is close. Nothing was happening yesterday. Nothing is happening today. Nothing will happen tomorrow. So nothing is imminent on the Victor Osimhen story. And as soon as we will have the situation clear, we will come here and clarify. Might be tomorrow. I will do some live show to clarify here on Playback what's the situation of Victor Osimhen. But I really wanted to clarify to you the situation of Dani Olmo, because I think it's an important one. For Manchester United, I saw some questions on Matthijs de Ligt, on other stories. First of all, Lenny Joao is injured, it's true. He could be out for up to beginning of September. So let's see that he could miss something like the first games for Manchester United. Is not a super serious injury. So obviously Joao is expected to be back in the next weeks. But what's the point with Lenny Joao is that Manchester United even more now need one more centre back, and Matthijs de Ligt remains a strong name on their short list. That, guys, I think we said almost everything. Let me remind again the news we shared tonight with Matteo. Mikel Merino close to joining Arsenal. Everything is still verbal at this point, so waiting to make it formal. The timing could take some days to get it done. But Arsenal are advancing in talks for Mikel Merino, have an agreement with the player, and Real Sociedad are prepared to sign Carlos Soler from Paris Saint-Germain as replacement. I think we said many things, so Matte, non sé si quieres decir algo más. I wanted to say something on Koopmeiners, because I see many Juventus fans. I know that someone today tried to deny, because it's normal, but Juventus presented an official bid for Theo Koopmeiners. Is confirmed 100%. I can put my hand on fire, as we say in Italy. The bid from Juventus is 45 million euros. Atalanta always wanted more than this, so it was never a bid to go accepted and you sign Koopmeiners tonight. That was never the case. It will take time to potentially sign the deal for Koopmeiners, because it's not easy to negotiate with Atalanta. Atalanta consider Koopmeiners a super important player, as they say in public with their CEO many times. So at the moment, there is still no agreement between clubs. But Juventus opened the negotiations with this first bid. Juventus have an agreement with the player since June, and so Theo Koopmeiners and Juventus is absolutely concrete, waiting to see if they can reach an agreement with Atalanta. Thanks to all of you, and see you soon. Ciao.